Hello, this is Shelby with Curious Cat Crime Sundays, and today's story is about Gloria Faragian, who was murdered by her son, Alan Faragian, in South Florida in 2013. This is a bit of a personal case to me, as I knew Alan very well for about 5 years. So I will give you a little bit of insight into his life, along with what Gloria did and how she impacted our community, and along with what the incident actually was. So I dated Alan's best friend for roughly 3 years, which is how I got to know Alan so well. He would often come to our house and sleep on the couch, stay over, hang out all day. He was there very often, so I did get to know him very well. The headlines changed 3 times during the time period of showing on the news. At first, it started with what I believe was his mental truth, that his mom was the devil and he was God-fearing, so he had to kill her. Secondly, it was that they got in an argument over a television show. And lastly, it was that she poisoned him. Here are my thoughts. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I do know Alan well enough to know that the first one was probably being a lack of his medication and on drugs. Then the second one was probably a moment of clarity, and the third being either a lack of clarity or she was trying to get him to take his medication, which he thought of as poisoning. In between the 2 calls, Alan's dad had tried to get a Marchman Act, but either had a heart attack or a stroke on the steps of the courthouse and was unable to have this be done. Alan's mom was there that night simply just to check on her son and to see if he was doing all right. Besides her family, Gloria Faragian, 62 of Jupiter, will also be remembered by her 2 school families. Gloria Faragian, who had taught at the St. Lucie School District since 2004, started this school year teaching 2nd grade at White City Elementary and transferred in late October to teach art at Port St. Lucie Parkway Elementary. Gloria Faragian became a teacher in 1971 and taught 2nd and 3rd grade for 10 years. According to a personnel file, she taught 3rd grade in Savannah, Georgia from 1986 to 1987 and taught language arts in Indian Middle at Martin County from 1988 to 1989. She returned to teaching in 2002 and taught at Lake Park Baptist, and the following year taught 1st grade at a charter school in Boynton Beach, according to her personnel file. In 2004, she was hired in St. Lucie as a Title I teacher at White City Elementary, then worked as the school's art teacher during the years 2007 to 2008, and then taught 1st grade. She started this school year teaching 2nd grade at White City and transferred to Parkway Elementary on October 22nd to become the school's art teacher. St. Lucie County Teacher Union President Vanessa Tillman said, "It's a tragedy and loss for us all. Our hearts go out to her family." This is a tragic story and it hits close to home, and I often wonder what would have happened if his dad wouldn't have died, if he would have been Marchman Act. Would any of this have ever happened? Guys, it is Curious Cat Crime Sunday. I'm just adding a little update, not an update, but a addition to the newest video because I noticed a few people had mentioned that I didn't really speak much on Alan or what happened, and that was only because we didn't have enough photos to make a longer video. So I'm going to make a vlog type video explaining what happened, although I can't say certain words, so bear with me and try to read between the lines. But Alan did kill his mom, and the way he did it was by both the chest and the neck around 87 times. This was so much that it was nearly cut off. I mentioned in the first take of this something that I'd like to mention again, and it was just something Alan had told me one day. I was sitting with him outside of my ex-boyfriend's house and we were talking, and I was like, "Alan, what's it like to have schizophrenia?" And he said, "Do you see that trash can over there?" And I said, "Yes." And he goes, "You see a trash can, I see a blue sky." Now to me that makes no sense, but I think that's the point. And to him, that was what having schizophrenia was like, or at least at that moment. And, he was a bit of an odd person, but I am a bit of an odd person. I've always liked that and tried to surround myself with people like that. Um, Unfortunately, none of us saw this coming. His family may have, due to being Baker Act so many times in a small time period, but the person I saw was not the heart of a killer. And that's why I do think it does have to do with the fact of being off his medication, not having his dad there to keep him in check, and mixing drugs into the situation. Mixing drugs into the situation is never a good idea, whether it's mental illness or not. He was a funny person. He would make up stories, and I could never really tell if he believed them or if he was just joking around. And they were always just wild and crazy, and he was entertaining. It's really sad to me that this happened. Like I said in the video, I wonder if he had been Marchman Act, would this have happened or would it have not? And something else I didn't mention in the video is he had a sister who had a very young son, and not only did she lose her father, but shortly after she lost her mother at the hands of her brother. That's hard. I can't imagine that. And if you're watching this, I'm very sorry for your loss. The other thing I wanted to mention was I stayed in contact with his lawyer for a little while, and he was supposed to be getting out when I spoke to his lawyer last. To now, he's probably going to be getting out in about 3 to 4 years. He did get the insanity plea, so he's in a mental institution jail, not a jail, and he's going to be out in 3 to 4 years. And I hope he stays on his medication, because without that, it scares me. But I'm hoping being on it for this long, as long as it's been, that hopefully it will help him in being able to stay on it longer and continue the process. So that's all I got. And this has been Curious Cat Crime Sunday. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.